The Rock Studio here with a quick video about the Caig Laboratories vacuum tube socket cleaning kit. I just got this in the mail from tubesandmore.com, and we're going to open it up, see what's in it, and we're going to use it to clean the sockets of my ancient Marshall 100 watt JMP from 1978. We're going to see if it gets rid of some of the noises that my amp makes on its own. What I'm going to do first is just turn my amplifier on, unplug the cable from the front. I've got it hooked up to my speaker cabinet out in the tracking room, and I turned it off standby. And as you can see, it just randomly pops and snaps. You can see here on the screen, these guys here are just random noise that just pops up every once in a while. And it's a problem I've been having with my old Marshall. Like I said, it's a 78. It's turning 40 years old in March. I'm just going to let it roll for a couple more minutes and catch some more of the pops. And then we'll see if the Caig Labs DeoxIT Gold vacuum tube socket cleaning kit makes a difference. I'm looking forward to finding out if it does, if it helps. Let's take a look inside the box. And here there's the Essentials Guide to Caig Laboratories. There is the DeoxIT cleaner, 25% solutions, 25 milliliter bottle. There's DeoxIT Gold, 100% solution in a 7.4 milliliter bottle. There are some lint-free cleaning squares. They're cotton. There's 2 soaking cups here. You actually fill these with liquid and put your power tubes in there, your preamp tubes. And then there's 2 different cleaning brushes, 2 large ones and 1 small for getting in the tube sockets themselves. Take a look at the brushes. There's 2 foam swabs, 2 large brushes, and 1 real small guy. This small one has metal wire. This is for getting in those preamp tube sockets. Here's a shot of all the components in the kit. Before we begin cleaning the tube sockets, you've got to pull all the tubes out. So, as you can see here, this is a 100 watt Marshall, but I have installed just 2 of these Ruby tube adapters with EL84, so total output on this amp is about 20 watts. 20 watts is a lot easier to manage in a small recording studio than 100. Now, I don't like touching my tubes with my bare hands. Also, sometimes it can be hot if you've just turned your amp off, so I always use paper towel or a towel or something. Now, before I go any further, I want to look and make sure there's no voltage still present on these pins if I'm going to be sticking that brush in there. This is where working on a tube amp can get dangerous. In fact, anytime you work on a tube amplifier, it can get dangerous. So I'm going to just plug my multimeter in. I'm going to set it to DC pin 345 or my hot ones. Nothing voltage in here. Before I unplug the power tubes, I've already unplugged the amplifier from the wall. One more step for safety, I've got a big 8 ohm resistor here on a lead. It's a 20 watt resistor. I'm just going to plug it into the output just for kicks. If you get into working on amplifiers, it's handy to build a capacitor draining resistor like this one here. This one's about 25 kilo ohm resistor. It's just, I've covered it in shrink tube and I put some alligator clips on it, and what you do is you can drain your capacitors with this thing. Remember, the capacitors inside can still have a huge charge to them. These pins run at between 400 and 600 volts when the amplifier is on, and those capacitors can store that voltage for a while, so don't mess around if you don't have to. Step 1 says verify the system is off and unplug the power. We've already done that. Step 2, remove the vacuum tubes. We've already done that. Step 3 is apply the DeoxIT 25% cleaning solution using the cleaning brushes to the inside of the tube sockets. We're going to start with shaking up the DeoxIT. If you've ever used DeoxIT, you know that it has the red color, and it's really good for cleaning electrical stuff. I've been using this stuff for years and years and years and years. This is a brush. It's plastic handle with nylon bristles. Let's take a delve into the first tube socket. When you're working on your amplifier like this, it might be a good idea to go ahead and tighten the pin sockets while you've got the chassis out, got the tubes out and everything. I wish this was a metal bristle brush because the bristles are getting kind of smushed already. Now it's time to do the preamp tube sockets. So we'll use this teeny little brush here. This one is very, very small. I've tried to find these brushes by themselves to purchase and I just can't seem to find them. So I bought this whole kit and I hope it does the trick. And this brush has metal bristles. Or at the very tip of this brush has been worn down, so I'm going to clip it off with the wire cutter. Step 4 says, place enough DeoxIT 25% cleaning solution in cups included in the kit to permit the tube post to fully submerge in the liquid without wetting the upper portion of the tube. I'm using new tubes, so I'm not going to do this step, because step 5 is stand vacuum tubes in the cups and allow to sit overnight. I'm doing a quick video here, so I'm not going to do that. Like I said, I have new tubes in here. Step 6 says wipe offer DeoxIT and contaminants with large foam swabs. Step 7 says apply the DeoxIT gold solution using the cleaning brushes to the inside of the tube sockets. This has a little nail brush applicator in there, but I think I'm going to use the brushes that I've been using. 100% solution. I've only used like the 5% spray solution before. This stuff is going to be powerful. I'm sure everybody's familiar with DeoxIT Gold. It used to be called Pro Gold. I'm going to go ahead and do the input and output jacks also while I'm at it. Keep those bad boys clean. And something you might not think about, but on these old Marshalls you have this impedance plug. I'm going to clean this up too because it's pretty grimy right now. While you're at it, take some of that DeoxIT and clean your old school power plug. These old Marshalls came with a captive cable. There was no IEC plug back then. As you can see, I've removed 2 of the output tubes from my Marshall. I do this so I can have lower volume. And the trick is that you can remove them, but you have to change the impedance also. For instance, if you're running into a 16 ohm speaker, you have to set your impedance jack on your Marshall to 8. If it's a 16 ohm speaker, set your amp for 8. If it's an 8 ohm speaker, set your impedance selector for 4 ohms. You can see my speaker is running about 21.8 ohms, so we're just going to say that's a 16 ohm speaker. So I'm going to set my impedance selector to 8, and since I have this old one, this old one has like a little window, and you can see your output impedance through the window. So I just put that on 8, and then I'm good to go. Before I put everything back together, I'm going to tighten up the pins in the tube sockets. So for that I'm going to use a little awl. You can get in the side of the sockets and gently push them back in together, and that'll give you a better connection on your tubes. Alright, now all the tubes are back in. So I'm going to turn the amplifier back on, I'm going to plug it in, and I'm going to crank it up and see if I get any more pops and crackles in my audio with no input. As Samuel L. Jackson said, hold on to your butts. Alright, so I just set the amplifier up, turned it back on, and I'm rolling the same settings. So far I've gotten 1 pop. I gotta say though that this amplifier has never been recapped. I just ordered a set of capacitors to do the job. Probably in the next week or 2 I'll go ahead and recap this Marshall, and hopefully that'll get rid of the rest of the pops in there. Hopefully it'll actually make everything sound a little bit tighter. But it's been a really great amplifier. It's been a real workhorse for me anyway. Like I said, I bought it in 1999 and it was in pretty rough shape, but a little TLC every couple years, some fresh tubes, and a little tube socket cleaning and tightening periodically will keep it running for a long time. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was easy to understand. And check out tubesandmore.com where I got this from. You'll be really impressed with their selection of parts for amplifiers, guitars, effects pedals. You can put together an entire amplifier from their website. They actually have amplifier kits, they have effects pedal kits, they have enclosures, they have switches, LEDs, potentiometers, whatever you need to repair an amp, a pedal, or a guitar, electronic-wise. Check them out. That's tubesandmore.com. And I am Anthony from The Rock Studio, and thanks for watching. Please like this video and please subscribe. See you next time.